Welcome back to the channel. On the last video we talked about what does our culture really kind of say what a man is, and I wanted to kind of dive a little bit more into how does a godly man supposed to act, or how is a godly man supposed to act. I have some scripture here. We're going to talk about the scripture. We'll read some of the scripture, and then we'll kind of discuss it a little bit, ask some questions as well, because that's important to ask questions about the scriptures, like why is it saying what it's saying, and so on and so forth. So we're going to try our best, because today has not been my day with technology, and it is very much showing right now. From a point of a husband, how is a man supposed to act towards his wife? Which is a good question, and a common question that a lot of men ask, especially ones that are newer into marriage. But hey, if you're not married, don't worry, because we're going to talk about like men in general. So if you're not married, don't skip the video, because this will be helpful to you as well, and the answer may be more simple than you think. As a man, as a married man, and as a married Christian man, there's some things that we kind of struggle with as men. And for me, a lot of times being kind is one of those things. Even when I'm trying to joke, I am sometimes not being as kind as I should be. The point here is I'm trying to make is that we're supposed to be kind to our spouse. Colossians 3:19 is the whole essence of that verse, is being kind. Also, how are we supposed to act towards our wife is in Ephesus 5:25. Love your wife like Jesus. That's the root of that verse. We're supposed to love her like Christ, even to the point of death, just like how he did for the church, how Jesus did for the church. So love your wife even to the point of death. Ephesians 5:28. Love your wife as yourself. So God's setting a baseline on how you're supposed to treat your spouse. And why is that important? Just like the scripture says, if you love yourself, you are not going to mistreat yourself. You're not going to abuse yourself. You're not going to talk down to yourself. So you better bet your bottom dollar you shouldn't be doing that to your wife. So why is God saying these things? Is it a cultural thing, or is it one of those things that God just says? Well, the answer to that, it may very well be cultural. Women were often looked at as property at times, just like this is around the biblical times. They had slaves and so on and so forth. Now, the reason why there's people hear that and they go, oh, the Bible has slaves in that culture, at that time frame, women were often looked upon less than. But God is saying, no, you are to treat your wives fair, you're to be kind, and you're to love them like exactly how Jesus loved you. So here's where it starts to turn into more towards just men in general, not just married men, okay? In 1 Thessalonians 3:12, increase our love to others. And the thing is that why would God say that? Why would God say, well, increase your love? Like the scripture says, we hope that your love is increased just like how our love has been increased. And obviously I'm going to be pulling these scriptures up on the screen so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But if you look at today's day and age, look at what's going on in the world right now. I know that, there's the election thing and stuff like that, but with the division between culture and race, and to be 100% honest, more love couldn't hurt anybody. You can never go wrong with showing somebody more love. Which for my final verse is Matthew 22:39, and this is the second commandment of the two commandments, right? That Jesus took the 10 commandments and boiled them down into two. So the first one is love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind, right? The second one is love your neighbor as yourself. Now let's expand on that a little bit. Who is your neighbor, right? What is this loving your neighbor as yourself bit, right? It could be your wife, your husband, your spouse. Those kinds of people could be considered your neighbor. It's basically anybody in close proximity of you for that time frame or longer. So the point here, to just kind of put a big old nice bow on everything and just to wrap it up, how are men supposed to act? We're called to give grace to everybody. We're called to show the love of Christ to everybody. But if we do these things as men, as simple as they are, and I wanted to keep this as super basic as I could, we can make the world a better place. One person at a time, one interaction at a time, all through the love of Christ. I hope you guys have a great day. God bless you guys.